Good morning and welcome back to News and Views right here on Salam Media. Today we're going to be focusing on the escalating protests that are demanding the release of former Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan. Across the globe, supporters of the embattled leader have mobilized, including in the UK, where protesters have urged citizens to write to their MPs for humanitarian intervention. The situation in Islamabad has been marked by violence with reports of fatalities, attacks on media organizations, and a heavy-handed response from security forces. Yet, the movement shows no signs of waning, with protesters vowing to fight till the end. And joining us to unpack this very, very complex and volatile situation is Dr. Yvonne Ridley, an internationally acclaimed journalist, writer, and human rights activist based in the UK. Dr. Ridley, thank you so much for being with us today. Really, really appreciate your time.
On to your show.
Pleasure is all ours. I think first and foremost, Dr. Ridley, protests in support of Imran Khan have reached far beyond Pakistan, including right there in the UK. Why do you think this issue resonates so strongly with the global diaspora, and what does it signify about Imran Khan's appeal?
Well, what we have witnessed over the last few weeks is that Imran Khan is more than just a figurehead in Pakistan. He is a real leader. You know, he's probably now the most significant and best known political leaders in prison since Mandela. And he is loved and admired by the majority of the Pakistan diaspora from throughout North America, Europe, and elsewhere. And this has been shown by the amount of demonstrations that are actually building in momentum rather than decreasing. And it's time the Pakistan government acknowledged this and followed the will of the people, because if they don't, they just have to look at what happened in neighboring Bangladesh. You know, when leaders start to ignore the will of the people, then big changes can be brought about. So what I suggest the people in power do is listen to the power of the people.
Focus right now on the protests in the UK. If you can just unpack them for us, what are the citizens they're calling for specifically, and what are they hoping to achieve, and how effective do you think the approach there is when it comes to influencing the UK government or those that are in power to look at it for international policy and to intervene on this issue?
I'm sorry I didn't hear you, but if you're asking about what is happening in Britain, there are demonstrations all over the country by people from his party and people who just love him. You know, Imran Khan isn't just a politician. He is a cricketing legend and is so well known around the world. And what is going to be interesting, many people suspect that he is in prison simply because that is the will of the powers that be in America. Well, we all know that there's a change coming there soon, and Donald Trump is a big fan of Imran Khan. And I think that we may well see the military, which is the de facto leader in Pakistan, getting its knuckles rapped by the new presidential administration to release Imran Khan.
Reports from Pakistan, particularly in Islamabad, describe a troubling escalation of violence with protesters killed. We are hearing reports that media has also been attacked, and there's been a heavy security presence. From a human rights perspective, how concerning is the situation, and what precedent does it set for dissent in Pakistan?
When you turn the guns on the people, that's when you know the regime is starting to crumble. And this brutality, which has martyred so many Pakistanis, will not serve the government well at all. In fact, it reminded me of the viciousness and butchery that happened during the time of the Red Mosque massacre. The anniversary, I think, has just passed, and that was nearly 20 years ago. These acts of violence by the military are not popular at all. In fact, it will put undue pressure on the military because young soldiers will not want to obey orders. They don't want to turn their guns on their own people. Historically, it's never worked. And these are perilous times. I don't know who is advising the military at the moment, but they must listen to the people and not the politicians.
No, definitely. And speaking of politicians, I want to touch a bit on the UK's role in Pakistani's, political crisis, or what seemingly is, becoming a political crisis. Given the strong historical and political ties between the UK and Pakistan, should the UK government take a more proactive stance in this crisis? And what challenges or risks might this entail?
Well, the UK government at the moment is in the control of Tel Aviv. More than half of Sir Keir Starmer's cabinet is in the pay or sway of the pro-Israeli lobbies. So unless it's in Israel's interests, I'm afraid we won't see the British government do anything at the moment. This is a shocking thing to say, but it is the reality. And this is what happens when influential lobbies are allowed to fund politicians. The UK could do something. Of course, we must remember that Imran Khan is a big advocate of pro-Palestine justice and is therefore seen by the influential Zionist lobbies as someone to be silenced. And this is the biggest fear of the Pakistan people. They genuinely believe that their leader will be assassinated in prison. It's we're living in extraordinary times, and this is why the people are willing to sacrifice their lives by standing up for Imran Khan, because he has stood up for the people of Pakistan for so many years.
Definitely. And just in closing, I want to touch a bit on, the global implications of this. If, these protests continue to escalate, what do you foresee as the potential impact on regional stability and also Pakistan's standing in the global community? And I want to touch on regional stability, I think, more because we've seen the scenes out in Bangladesh. Could we possibly see the same situation unfold in Pakistan?
Well, I'm not sure. This is down to ordinary people. They are the ones that are in control, and they are the ones that the military is reacting to. these are perilous times. It's not lost on anyone in the West that Pakistan is a nuclear power, sitting next to other nuclear powers such as in India and China. So, these, when Pakistan shouts in pain, it's very unwise for Western leaders to ignore these cries. And the diaspora realizes this. And, the changes that are going to happen in Pakistan are going to be brought about through people power.
No, definitely. Yvonne, unfortunately, we have run out of time. We're going to leave it on that note. Really, really appreciate you joining us this morning. And I'm pretty sure we'll be catching up in the not so distant future.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. That
Salam.
was Dr. Yvonne Ridley. And yeah, we're just chatting briefly about the UK and, these protests that are sparing up, demanding Imran Khan's release. This has been a story that's been going on for quite a long time. And it will be interesting to see, with these protests spreading the world over and what is currently happening in Pakistan itself, in Islamabad, what's going to be the turning and ending point in that part of the world. So this is going to be a story that we're going to be following quite closely. Unfortunately, we have come to the end of today's show. It's been quite a jam-packed one, quite challenging one, an interesting one. And fortunately, we have made it happen. Thanks to Puti, who's behind the desks, who made the magic happen today. And everyone who was involved, Naz, and the whole team. I'll be with you again next week, Wednesday, for the Wednesday edition of News and Views. Tomorrow, Inaid Wadi does come back for the Friday edition of News and Views. It's been a great one. It's been an interesting one. We'll see you again next week. Sharp, sharp.